The President of the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences, past President of the Academy, Vice Presidents, Fellows, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, students, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Fellows of the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences, Ghana's premier learned society, I warmly welcome you to day 2 of a 3-day lecture series, marking the 53rd in the series since 1968. The J.B. DANQUAH Memorial Lecture Series was instituted in 1968 in memory of a foundation member of the Academy, Dr. Joseph Boakye DANQUAH, who died in prison in February 1965. The event consists of a series of 3 lectures delivered on varying themes ranging from law, philosophy, literature, medicine, health, religion, nation building, and others. The maiden lecture was delivered in 1968 by His Excellency W.B. Van Leer, also a foundation member of the Academy, on the theme, The Law, Human Rights, and the Judiciary. The chairman for tonight's event is Professor Kofi Anyidoho. He's a poet, scholar, cultural activist, and professor of literature at the Department of English, University of Ghana, Legon. He's a former director of the African Humanities Institute program at the University of Ghana, where he served for over 6 years as acting director of the School of Performing Arts. Outside the university, he has been deeply involved in various initiatives designed to promote African culture, including Ghana Television's African Heritage Series, for which he was the main host and producer. Professor Anyidoho is a past president of the African Literature Association, and he has served on numerous boards and committees, including the University of Ghana Council and the National Commission on Culture. He has won several prizes for his poetry, including the Valco Fund Literary Award. He was re-elected Vice President of the Academy Art Section in December 2018. Shall we please welcome our chairman? Thank you.
Current President of the Academy, former presidents who are here with us, as well as those who are over there. The session is led by the work on the move. Vice Presidents, President and past. Those who were here yesterday, witnessed the beginning from the students for the day. Today, Professor also continues today. But for those who may not have been here yesterday, let me just say that also the little boy who said at Boston College and Glasgow University, graduating with honors. There are scholarships from the Royal Colleges of Saints of Edinburgh and from England. A founding fellow of the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons. A member of the Ghana Medical Association, West African College of Surgeons, and ex-member of the National Council for Higher Education. Professor Olu is a professor of surgery, poet, essayist, philanthropist, and columnist of Ghanaian Times. He has lived and worked in 5 countries, carrying professional interest and research approaches to policy management and equality management. His hobbies include education, creative writing, being a member of the Ghana Association of Writers. And also is acknowledged as a brilliant surgeon and mentor who made a book in sometimes called The Teacher of Conscience. In Glasgow, he left invaluable frames of scholarship opportunities. He collected nearly all the prizes he mentioned, including the Colorado Gold Medal, the Grantham Memorial Prize, as the most distinguished graduate of the year. That he made history as the first African to win that prize. Later, he also won the Commonwealth Award for Promising Young Professionals. His 90 publications in peer-reviewed scientific journals reflect his input in technical research and practice. His specialty training was in case study. His original research was in the field of innovation in surgery finding contributed to the debate on land transplantation versus artificial land. I also know it's a paper PSC advocated for an independent land corridor, as said. They are saying to receive an award for his contributions to the parliament. His member chairman in relation for board and board of directors. Otherwise, they mentioned Gary's knowledge of sciences, that aspect, and it was on the foundation. The boy was entitled to the one Award for his work, and he is acclaimed as an international inspirational boy. Three of his poems have been selected by YA over the past several years. One other is studying basic and indigenous attitudes. They have received an award from Ghana to human rights. And let me just short and also recall that only this last Friday, which was the UN mandated Mother Tongue Day, a selection of those was translated in 11 different languages. Was launched. We welcome the poet who was preparing all along to the session.
Yes. I'll just wait for the chairman for the session to take his seat. Professor continue to hold the chairman for this session. Madam President of the Academy, the former presidents of the Academy, both here and no more here, the vice presidents of this Academy and fellows of the Academy. I can see a number of Nanans are here, Benton is here, Hackman is here, and others also. Pay my sort of respects to all of you. And I see headmasters, principals are also here, other friends are also here, and I can see lots of students are here. We are here because of you, the students. Those of you who may not have been here yesterday, let's just remind you of where we are. Reformation is the reason for these 3 lectures. We explained yesterday that we were in the trammels of meditation when it was said, tell them about my unfinished business. Just as though DANQUAH was saying, and something in me heard those things. As you can see from here, those from yesterday, you recall that you're the primary audience, the students. With them are the parents, teachers, who love them unconditionally. And this is just a joke. Sometimes I miss to believe that becomes loving the unlovable. You didn't get a joke? But we love you all the same. Joapia sought to infuse into the youth unity and true patriotism. It's on that road that will continue our journey today. I showed yesterday this letter, which was one of the primary source of the information about the unfinished business. I am anxious to resume my contribution to A, B, C, and D. I didn't know this thing existed. It was when that voice was heard that I started searching. I didn't have to search long. People came offering information, and this was one of them. We discovered yesterday that we covered the ground which was referred to earlier, the Ghanaian literature, Twi and English. Explained that whenever you see the word Twi, read Ghanaian languages. And we agreed after a fight that literature is a science. And today, my rules have been bad that he is a poet pretending to be a surgeon. Whatever that may be, it's a good fortune that I have to share with you J.B. DANQUAH's unfinished business. Today we're here. Today we're here. This book by this young lady, Abina Hansan, explained J.B. DANQUAH, a man of many parts. I recommend strongly that the students here, please, attention should be drawn to that book so you can all have a chance to read it. Madam, yesterday when you were having a postmortem about the things going on, you said these words: no one professional has monopoly of insight to his or her profession. A surgeon can say a word or two about literature. A priest, a word or two about physics. And she was reminding me that a number of people who turned out to be great in her own area of worship in the Methodist Church began life as engineers and so on. She named them by name. And she also reminded me that maybe there has been at last an alignment of the spheres with this assignment given to me, when through meditation became clear that I must talk about the unfinished business of J.B. DANQUAH. He was a man ahead of his time. Read this. It must not be forgotten that the strain and stress of the new civilized life, its motto, ignore steam transport is no longer there, its preserved food, its rapid changes, its trouble and bustle, its constant demands upon a nervous system and energy. He's not a medic, but he was talking about constant demands upon our nervous system and energy are incomparably greater and more exacting than they were some time ago. The third item is important, bear that in mind. Now, Madam, I need your attention, please. It says here, the care of health should be greater than our desire to amass individual wealth, but the methods of the white man. For without health, we cannot enjoy wealth. And wealth without health, health without wealth is blind. And finally, if you have the wealth without the health, it becomes empty. That was what J.B. DANQUAH said. I'm opening today's presentation with these words, and I will end with these words. All right. We take health for granted. You have to be reminded that there are some prerequisites for health, especially in the context of wellness, and they are listed here. They were captured in what is called the Ottawa Charter. Peace. And this information tells us that information gathered in the year 2019 that Ghana was ranked the 4th most peaceful nation out of 54 countries in Africa. The source is quoted there. Our government is assuring peace. We are used to peace. Let's not take peace for granted, because without peace and tranquility, you will be searching for health and search in vain. The other items which are prerequisites for health and well-being are listed there. These are the prerequisites, requirements of what everybody knows. You need reasonable food, you need reasonable clothing, you need shelter, you need reasonable funds. You also need a stable ecosystem and the use of natural resources in a sustainable manner. You have to minimize global warming. These are the prerequisites before we delve to the deeper waters of wellness. This man, over 90 years ago, predicted these things. He was not a medic. These then are the 8: occupational, physical, social, and then spiritual wellness. I commend to all students here to remember these 8 dimensions of wellness. They've been arranged in alphabetical order. The single most important, the supporting, the basis of it all is number 8. We shall come to that momentarily. In the next slide, I will align from these 8 dimensions of wellness, the one that coincides most closely with the aspirations of David DANQUAH. So, by exclusion, let me talk now about intellectual wellness, because it's aligned to education. It is necessary for you to become educated, because that's where you get information, you're able to think critically, to assess events, and to come to reasonable conclusions. Occupational wellness speaks for itself. Without reasonable occupation, you become unwell. Physical wellness, I'll go to town about that momentarily. Social wellness, I don't have much to say about that, because we all know what that means, except what I said yesterday. If you deny your child's communication in the mother tongue, you are creating a cretin out of him, whereas a giant is what you're supposed to be according to his genes, which he inherited from you. And Madame told us a funny story of the lady in Britain straightened the child in a manner which only she can reproduce. I wouldn't dare to do that, Madame. All right, this then is the content of the 8 dimensions of wellness. We shall not do all of them. We shall focus on just 3 selected according to the prism of David DANQUAH. For example, here he said, number 1, beware, preserved foods are bad for your health. And this links me to cocoa and exercise. He said, strains and stresses of the new civilized life are not so good for you. It will take us to cultural and environmental wellness at this end. He also says, beware the constant demands upon the nervous system. Things like here, emotional wellness, and the basis of it all, spiritual wellness. And just read this. It should be in our national program of progress. The national program of progress to live according to the demands of the 8 dimensions of wellness. He was a man 90 years ago talking about wellness, you and I are discovering only today. Now, if that isn't prophecy at its best, I don't know what is. Clap for DANQUAH. So, cocoa. Why on earth do I begin cocoa? When I want to talk about food, I could talk about plant, veggie, I could talk about cocoa, anything. But I want to start with cocoa, the health benefits of cocoa. Check this out. I carried cocoa and sold it. This is a poem to celebrate his 50th birthday by David DANQUAH. And I recorded here a repetition of what he said earlier. So I won't repeat them again. Mr. Boache, Please treat for me that tree in the account. He said, watch it. I need you. What are you? This one. He said, but you don't pretend you can't see me. Let's look at it. When I started writing about governance, I was told it was Hippocrates who first said that. This was said in the books until I met Professor Edugen. He said, oh, no, you have got it all wrong. My people have been saying this before Hippocrates was born. And there's the evidence. So, do not underestimate yourselves. Do not underestimate the wealth of our culture. Do not underestimate the wisdom of the people. And I'm going to show you more even amazing depth of the wisdom of the people momentarily. Say that again in your account. Would you remember that? Do you believe that? All right. The young ones, make a note about that. And those who speak for the English, take a note about that. Look at Hippocrates in Google, check his date of birth before he died, so many years before Christ. This was that he was alleged to have said that. But in fact, our people knew that truth before Hippocrates was born. Now then, on earth and the health benefits of cocoa. Recently, as you know, strange things have happened, and the cocoa board has generated some beautiful situations whereby we have been told more and more, as you can read this, about the health benefits of cocoa. And I got this slide from this gentleman, and I'm happy to see the chairman of the board is here of Cocoa Board. Nana, happy to see you. And thank you very much for putting this at my disposal. Where they're going to become a slide when I compare Ghana with Brazil, in a manner which you find rather disturbing. But come to that in a minute. It says here, drinking cocoa increases blood flow to the heart and the brain and other organs. That's the opening statement. The Kuna Indians drink 5 cups of cocoa a day. And Harvard reports they don't suffer high blood pressure, heart disease, dementia, and Alzheimer's disease. By the way, the bad news about Alzheimer's disease was discovered yesterday. If a child learns multilingual languages as a child, the particular child, if God forbid, he or she develops Alzheimer's, the symptoms would appear some 5 years later than a colleague who is not multilingual. Nitrous oxide, that's what NO stands for, that's betraying my scientific background, increases and protects again the organs that listed, the heart, the brain, blood vessels, the liver, the pancreas, the lungs, and eyes, and you name it, every organ in the body. Let me pause here and say a few words about the eye. I've been bombarded with slide upon slide of the effects of cocoa, of the beneficial health effects of cocoa upon the eye. You have to try this for yourself. Apparently, it clears the retina. Apparently, it delays the onset of age-related deficiencies in the retina. That is impact on the eye. This next slide is even more interesting. It says here, cocoa is truly anti-aging. Maybe I need more of that. The risk of the top 4 killers is reduced by 10%. The source is indicated again. and designed by this fellow, Hollenberg, and say if this observations predicts the future, then we can say without blushing that they are among the most important observations in the history of medicine. Our good old-fashioned cocoa is being elevated to these ratified levels now of the intent. Teach your grandmother to suckle to wear a seed. Teach your grandmother to chew cola nuts. When I started reading these things, I said to myself, but we knew all about this people, didn't we? Now they are turning around, teaching to us in beautifully colored slides, so that we can believe them because it comes from them rather than from us. Let us believe in ourselves. I'm going to show you evidence of what even amazes you more for our failure to trust our instinct, to trust our ancestors. Here then are some of the reasons to consume cocoa. There are about 10 bullet points here. It's not my intention to go through all of them. Here it talks about its effect on the blood, helps to correct anemia. Would you believe that? It also helps to fight tooth decay. When I read that, I told myself the dentists will soon be out of business because there is a very well-informed and aggressive policy to make cocoa and cocoa products available for us all to enjoy. One of its many health is another feature which is mentioned. By the way, when all the health benefits I'm talking about now, not only cocoa, but the prevention of cancer which to come, please understand this. Whenever you have, let's say, blurring of vision, don't say that, let us only say that I should eat more cocoa, and therefore don't see the ophthalmologist. See the ophthalmologist, and then he or she will advise you what else to do. This was interesting. It minimizes menstrual pains. Apparently, that's what it says. Boosts fertility in both genders. It improves the memory and brain function. Alzheimer's comes in the game. And it's a detoxifier of a very, very high proportions. And again, it inhibits blood clots. Now, one can go to great lengths expanding on this, but in a nutshell, I think we are being advised and being urged to remember that the product that we call the backbone of our finances, our industry, and our financial sector, in addition to, of course, gold, is not only bringing the money, but also brings in your health. So let us literally revere this product and give to it the role that the right place that it deserves in our communities. The booklet that I read about this has also this line that it's easy to include in your diet. Because I was unafraid to experiment, it says that if we sprinkle cocoa powder on banana here, it's very tasty. So I tried the experiment. And the young lady who helped me to do this, she's right here at the back, controlling my purse and my camera. This picture shows a homemade dish of sliced banana drowned in cocoa powder, not sprinkled and it drowned in cocoa powder. And I can tell you from a experimental model of 2, sample size of 2, that it really works. A sample size of 2. It's very nice, and I recommend it strongly. This is the slide I warned you about. The answer is here. The general population that is in Brazil, despite being one of the major producers of cocoa, is fully informed of the significant health benefits of cocoa. That was an article I picked from the net from Brazil. where the authors actually, it was a scientific paper, were lamenting this observation about Brazilians. Next line. For Brazil, can one safely read Ghana? Your decision, not mine. Therefore, the scientific findings confirm there is a historical level that cocoa is indeed food of the gods. We're changing gear now to a very rarified atmosphere. We are all aware of what cancer is, this malignancy which can affect any organ in the body. The brain is not spared, the eye, the skin, the liver, the lung, the legs, the bone, they are all subject to malignancy. And if we can prevent it through food, if you said, what do you say in your account again, please? Please. As a matter of scientific truth, now wouldn't that be marvelous? If this can be done. Here is a source, right here, called Cancer Cure Reform, fighting food with cancer with food. I'd like you to take on the next few slides with a pinch of salt from Adam, not the imported stuff. The Adam one is a genuine stuff. But at the same time, just suppose that these agents will do what the man said. You must not remember the preserved food are harmful for us. Let's just assume that these things should be there to stave off the malignancy, to inhibit their growth, and to reduce the tumor size. Let's just make that assumption that there's a food element which will do this, stave it off, inhibit the growth of the cells, and reduce the tumor size. Just make that assumption. And one more time, the favorite quotations are here. Said by the Greek, said by our people. All right. Look at this here. I'll start here. Mushroom, nuts, kotombe. By the way, we looked up kotombe in the Google, and they gave us this English name for it, pop, and apparently that's other word for it, that's the English word for it. And the lower incidence of stomach cancer. Honestly, the simplicity and yet the import of the information is quite mind-boggling. Here it is the other one, nuts. Like coffee manchon. It suppresses prostate cancer. It doesn't mean that it will eliminate it, but says to suppress it. But please, if you have, God forbid, prostate cancer, it doesn't mean go and buy all the granules in the Nagra and consume. But please remember it may help. But look here also mushrooms. To build immunity and attack the cancer cells, preventing them from growing. So, these are food elements which we have, and research demonstrates that they may have some cancer-preventing properties. Now, some time ago, when Portugal was the Minister for Health, was trying to introduce this new paradigm in our approach to health and wellness. It was under his reign or under his watch that wellness gained in popularity. You seem to remember those facts. And he was very much in favor of the plant-based food being of great value to us. We don't have apple in our country, or do we? But that's what it does. But we have plenty of cocoa. And it reduces the risk of tumors of the neck, of the womb. We have avocado. is useful for hepatitis, that is, inflammation of the liver caused by a virus, which is precursor for cancer of the liver. Look at our good old friends here. Oranges, lemon, and grapes. Grapes have many grapes, but they have oranges and lemon. And they are helpful to slow the growth of tumors. Now, these pictures should make an imprint in your mind that just suppose, there's an element of truth in them. The long and short of it, I consume more of these things and less of processed food. Cabbage, cauliflower, breast, colon, prostate. Carrots, bladder, breast, mouth, throat, stomach, intestine, colon, run, pancreas, the whole lot. Garlic and onions, they are hard in the stomach and colon cancer. Tomatoes, pepper, melon, we tackle that. The message is clear. I'm anxious that at the end of this session, you feel like you've been to a feast. Your rest are filled, yet hunger for more. That's my hidden agenda. Therefore, I will not dwell anymore on these slides. Breast cancer is rare in countries that cannot afford to eat animal products. Now, that is a powerful statement. Therefore, the young ladies here, God forbid, I don't wish anybody any harm, but I'm aware of that unpredictability of tumors, wherever they are, and tumors of the breast can definitely be unpredictable. And if by reducing your intake of animal proteins, you are helping yourself reduce your exposure to cancer of the breast, why not? Why ever not? Therefore, it says here, ours is only the preaching, the rest is not our business. It's a quotation from T.S. Eliot. The rest is not our business. I was just to preach. It's your life. You are in charge. Please consult your doctor, the registered doctor, as I said earlier. It's changing our gear. Physical exercise. Who is here who doesn't know the value of physical exercise? Therefore, what more do I have to tell you about physical exercise? But I'm going to tell you something about physical exercise which will amaze you. Because they were harvested from this source here. They were harvested from the Mayo Clinic report, and I labeled them the Magnificent Seven. This particular article from the Mayo Clinic, which is published in the online, selected only 7 key elements or key benefits of exercise. Everybody knows this. It helps you to reduce weight. It helps you that when the weight is reduced, it remains reduced. Now that's also very important. Could you, is that the way to say it? No. And then so many. Meaning, a very little exercise is better than none at all. So, if you are doing a household work, it's better to walk from point 1 to point B than ask the maid to do it for you. I know a lady who used to do that on herself. Said, "No, I'll do this myself. Not that I don't have a maid or maids, but let me do the walking. A little bit of walking may help me." That is important. She'll go to the garden herself. She'll feed the chicken herself. But she believes that a little bit of exercise will help. Because every little bit counts. It reduces these things here. It helps you to reduce the risks of inflammation of the joints, again, cardiovascular disease. The high blood pressure comes in again, and the sugar disease, diabetes. The taste here is to boost your energy, muscle, endurance. And here, It's good for emotional. It gives you emotional lift. If you want to blow up steam after a stressful day, just do this. Hit the gym or go for a walk. So these are some of the spin-offs that you get from exercise. It says here, it's very helpful. It makes you fall asleep faster. You get deeper, better sleep, and more reposeful sleep. Over here, it improves your marital life. It apparently is very good as activity. It enhances arousal in the gender. Men are less likely to have some difficulties. And it can also help you become an enjoyable process outdoors, like this picture shows here. Simply hanging around, hanging out with colleagues and family and friends. So you cannot say, therefore, that you have not been advised or reminded about the benefits, these other top-up benefits of physical exercise, nor have you been reminded of the possibility that some fruits and vegetables may help to prevent or ameliorate cancer, or that you have not been told about one or two other things about cocoa. Now then, we come on to emotional wellness here. Emotional wellness is something which one has thought about a lot. To everything there is a limit. Even reason has its limits. Where it is not so, no priest will ever rape a nun. None will ever commit sodomy against teenage boys, rope in wives serving at altars. No, any physician boasts himself to death. Because reason has its limits. It is when we reach the point when it's beyond reason that you realize, oh yes, you hit the limitations, the human capacity. That being so then, that just zero in on this particular product. The alcohol, that's what it stands for. That was the impact of this material on the life expectancy. In 72, it was a much higher. In that it was higher than this character. If you break it down in gender, males only 64%, females about 70%. In other words, our life expectancy is going lower instead of up due to this particular agent. And this is the reasons we're given here. The reason I'm not putting these details upon you are simply this. I got this article here from Upper West some years ago, but the facts are still the same. There are a number of scientific articles about alcohol in our community. And this particular one found the reason men consume it, why women consume it. Men do so to increase their self-confidence, to help them cope with the social demands of which unemployment, unfortunate poverty are two of the most difficult ones to crack. The ladies consume the ukusiku, they do that to hang around with other women, or they abuse it, and the abuse is increasing anyway, and is associated with those who don't do so very well. Nobody is surprised by this. Here then is a detail, a medical detail, which just reminds you of what you are playing with when you are tempted to go into that, that cul-de-sac. The liver bears the brunt. The poor liver, some organ has to do the dirty work. Someone has to do the heavy lifting, because the glue has to be broken down. As it travels to the glue, the liver, perhaps the finest chemical factor ever designed, becomes wrecked. And this is the result. Is that converted Rolls Royce in Nagoya. And Nagoya crafted mechanism. So, here are the details of what you are buying when you choose to go that way. The eyes become yellow with dimples. The belly becomes bloated with water and some other material. The feet are swollen. The face becomes pudgy. That is what you are asking for when you choose to go that path, to drown your sorrows. This has been what you choose. It's a self-inflicted way to go. You throw the woman into sorrow when you choose to die before your time from alcohol. Or the care of health should be greater than a desire to amass in the world. It's your life. You are in charge. Now, we come into cultural and environmental awareness. And now, we are going to even deeper level of the meaning which our forefathers saw into things, but couldn't express in so many words. We're going to come across this now. It's one of the most stressful conditions of our existence now. So we have what is called the National Noise Awareness Day, as we set up. We're celebrating this in Ghana for some time now. During the Hong War, the guns prohibit noise for a certain time. If we were to respect this thing, bans on unnecessary noise are powerful contributors to wellness. This is the scientific side of it. The silence which ensues from such bans profound benefits on the levels which you are not immediately obvious. Look at this here. It is believed that silence nurtures germinating seeds and baby fish or fingerlings. Abundance is the net result. There's better harvest in the farms and weightier catches of fish in the coastal seas just beyond the breaking waters, the breaking waves. Now, did you know this as a fact? That the growers of grape these days have discovered that when they play classical music in the grapevines, the palm A, which hears the music, the palm B, who doesn't, the palm A does better than palm B. And because it's from them, we believe it. Because from Ukubite or Uhunya, we don't. So the plea is this: the voice from beyond the unfinished business is this: respect your culture. Respect your culture. Even though you don't comprehend the meaning of the prohibitions, they are much deeper than you can, unless you start to conduct research into them using the scientific method. Then you also get to know what they are meaning. I began with the 8 dimensions of wellness. Here they are again. And I did say that the dominant force is spiritual wellness. An encircling silence is mandatory for your growth and development in spiritual wellness. Spiritual wellness is the dominant force for well-grounded wellness and happiness. Without that, we are wallowing in shallow waters. This is how we started. Remember this. Remember that. Remember that. Now finally, just to reassure you that come day 3, we are going for a higher octane. But that's when we must talk about education. of its children, and avoidance of truancy and the frivolities of charity, scholarship adorned with humility, and I have a chance to pay him my humble tribute. The man himself has said it must not be forgotten that the strain and stress of the new civilized life is reserved food are not so good for us. The demands upon our nervous system and energy are greater than used to be. The care of health should be of greater than our desire to amass individual wealth by the methods of the white man, because without health, we cannot enjoy wealth. And health without wealth is blind, and wealth without health is empty. And now I'm emptied. I'm done.
I know I don't hear too well in there, but I think that I have enough traffic. So we are being on a journey with the poet learning to experience it. But at the end, we manage to do both brilliantly as a poet, as a saint, and all the other things. The very first time I was privileged enough to read poetry, at that time it was very fun. It was obvious to me that master of poetry was reading moderated by a deep spiritual flow. I had a privilege of now listening to me in a private conversation, explaining the secret of success as a said. And whenever I was confronted with the most delicate cases of gender, your thoughts trying to fall back on the training. But beyond the training, you are able to learn a source that you think you need that are open. And that source calls for spiritual guidance. Sometimes it feels that the movements of each one and certainly music instrument are being directed from a higher source. He was careful not to mention the source. But it's been very good to listen to him take us back to the thoughts, the inspirations, contributions of somebody who we all acknowledge as one of the founding fathers of our nation. that some of those things are already spoiled. We didn't start drinking cocoa early enough. Fortunately, cocoa is one thing we still have on our land, even though it's being degraded by all kinds of people. The young ones are here. Those of you who believe that the best way to start the morning is with Indomie. Because it shows that a good, solid cup of coffee or cocoa will save your life from a lot of issues, from many fronts. And it's not just cocoa, the other fruits that we have. We saw their business, we saw their advantages. We would like to once again remember those, and the general theme of wellness, that the 8 dimensions of wellness, from the very one at the top to the last one at the bottom, cultural, spiritual wellness. We may not have taken those, essentially those, but they have laid out so clearly we can forget some of them, but all of them I hope. When we come back tomorrow to listen to the final installment, a proper summarizing will be undertaken, fortunately not by me, but by public President for science. I thank everybody for being here this evening for this talk. It was like presentation by the scientists, very brief, but full of life, full of useful food for thought. Somebody said thought for food. We will welcome you back here. I was extremely pleased when I stepped in here some 15 minutes before the start and found that the hall was already full. Let's hope we can repeat this miracle tomorrow. I hand over to the honoraries.
Program. We have come to the end of today's session. We will meet again tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. Please let's come on time so that the speaker is not disrupted when people are coming in. And I believe that we will be here on time. Shall we please rise for the party to receive?